Good morning on this 14th Sunday of Ordinary Time. I've only seen one wooden yoke. It was carved around 1937 by an oblate priest who, when he first came to the Diocese of Whitehorse, lived in a log cabin which didn't have running water. Every morning during the summer, he would go down to the lake in front of his house to fetch water. After filling 2 pails and hooking them to the yoke, he would balance it on his shoulder and walk back home. Something he did for many years, a daily burden that was made easier using his handmade yoke. Usually a yoke is a wooden frame that was fitted across the neck of 2 oxen for joining them together so that they could pull a plow. The yoke actually made the work of the animals easier because they had to work together, making the job faster and more efficient. Often a farmer would harness an older ox with an inexperienced one, an opportunity for the younger animal to learn and adjust to the task from his more experienced partner. Today in the Gospel, we hear this invitation: "Come to me, all you who are weary and are carrying heavy burdens, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy, and my burden is light." To rest in Jesus is not to flop passively into a state of inactivity, but to rest perceivably and actively in him so as to appropriate his mind, his wisdom, and his strength. It is to be filled with the Spirit of Jesus so as to be fully refreshed and renewed for service. The yoke is easy because we don't have to be self-sufficient. Believing that God has given us one another and that we can and must count on God and one another is the wisdom Jesus invites us to embrace and follow. Jesus also invites us to learn from me, for I am gentle and humble of heart. We can learn a lot from a humble heart, especially the need to recognize and love the unity and oneness of our world. The virtue helps us to live the gospel message in a way that allows goodness and truth to transform us and our world. The yoke we bind ourselves to is Jesus, who encourages us to see the best in people, to love our enemies, to turn the other cheek, to go the extra mile, to forgive 70 times 7, to do good to those who would harm us, to share what we have with the needy we do not know. This difficult lifestyle is the cross we carry only with Jesus' help and the Spirit's power, knowing that when we do so, it brings about the reign of God in our world. When I look up the biblical definition of the phrase gentle and humble of heart, I found the following: gentle, meek, the positive moral qualities of dealing with people in a kind manner, with humility and consideration. To be gentle and humble of heart allows people to yoke themselves to those among us who are overburdened and oppressed, to see ourselves and our world through their eyes, to hear the cry of the poor without becoming defensive or argumentative, compelling us to put away weapons that destroy the peace and unity God has created through Christ's life, death, and resurrection. Last week, as people continued to protest and march, proclaiming Black Lives Matter, they were often met with anger and hostility by others on the sideline who were shouting, white lives matter or white power. The image of a couple standing in front of their home, armed with a pistol and automatic weapon, as peaceful protesters walked by, was an alarming and frightening picture which spoke to me of the need for dialogue, understanding, and respect in a time of conflict. Something we can do only when we allow the spirit of gentleness and humility to guide our words and actions. Today, as we gather for prayer and reflection, let us yoke ourselves to the gentle and humble heart of Jesus, so that we might continue to grow into a community of faith, hope, and love, and always be prepared to join those who carry heavy burdens. Remember that Jesus' invitation that we hear in today's gospel is first and foremost a call to mission. Today, we are asked to carry the burden of love, and we do so as we hear the following words. Come to me, all you who are weary and are carrying heavy burdens, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble of heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy, and my burden is light. Take care. Stay well.